my balance when I'm staring at stars. I just wanna believe that we're better than we are.
What's going on, guys? ODC back again with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Just a quick one today. Just thought we'd look at the starting champions really, just to see the kind of differences between them, and you know, if you're just starting the game, who you might want to pick. So there's four initial choices you get. You get Kale, who is a dark elf. Where's this dude? Right, Kale, which is a dark elf. Possibly the most popular starter champion. Let's run through why. So he's got a basic attack, which has which will 100% put up a 2.5% poison, so that's pretty handy. That's on his basic. His second ability attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, fills the turn meter of this champion by 25% for each enemy killed. So yeah, really good. That's a really good move. Then we've got Disintegrate, which is attack 4 times at random, has a 40% chance of placing a 5% poison debuff for 2 turns. You can obviously up that chance as well if you check below from upgrading the skill. So that's pretty good. And one thing that you'll find with all these starters, they all have this in common. They all have a HP increase by 15% in all battles, which, to be honest with you, is pretty good considering the different type of game modes there are. So that'll work everywhere in the game. So that's Kale. The reason he's the most popular is due to this. I mean, if he fills his turn meter and he kills, well, takes down 4 champions, that's another turn right there. So he's the most popular one. Everyone knows Kale. And it's because of his poisons as well. These poisons, when doing clan boss in particular, which is the mode that you do with your clan where you all take down, you know, get together to take down one big boss, out of all the starting champions, that is one of the most useful things you can have. So with the poisons, those will do damage over time for each turn that the boss takes, whether they're the small ones or the large poisons. He has both, so he's pretty handy, and people tend to pick him just because generally he'll do more for you early game than any of the others we're about to go over, but they're all still actually not that bad. So that's Kale. You know, we'll have a little rotation. Quite a stylish dude. Looks like he's dancing. Right, so that's Kale. Next one I wanted to look at out of the 4, where are we? Could go in order. We got High Elf, haven't we? High Elves. So this is one of the other ones, Elhane. Now Elhane gets the rep for the worst starter, even though I quite like her, to be honest. But with Elhane, the difference with Elhane is just damage, no poison. So with her, let's have a look. Attack 1 enemy, places an extra hit if this attack is critical. So what, that's 2 hits. If you can get the crit up, enable the critical hit. So that's all good. That's her basic. Second one, attack 1 enemy, then all enemies, has an extra 50% chance of inflicting a critical hit. That's similar to what Kale has on one of his. Places a 30% increase crit rate buff on this champion for 3 turns if a target is killed. Yeah, pretty good. I mean, chances are you're probably going to have the crit rate anyway after playing for a while. So you want her to crit really. But again, that's attack 1 then all, so you could, that's an AoE really. And her third ability is just attack all enemies 2 times. Can hit decent. It's not a bad ability, to be honest with you, and again, she has the 15% HP aura for all battles. I mean, with Elhane, she's actually pretty good. I mean, one thing with her, for the clan boss mode, she's not gonna be, you know, you'll replace her as soon as you get some people in with a bit more utility and a few moves, maybe like increasing your own defense or buffing your attack or your speed, things like that. But for dungeons, this can be quite handy if you can get your hands on it early enough. If you get her into a stun set, if you're not using her as your farmer, you know, to clear everything, yeah, she can be pretty handy, useful in some dungeons, maybe faction wars. So that's something to keep in mind. She's not the worst. I mean, in terms of rare champions, definitely not the worst. So that's the second one. The third one we are going to look at is, I believe, she's in the Sacred Order. And this is another one who's pretty good. People do rate her though, she's pretty good. Right, so this is Aethel. Aethel has, as an A1, attack one enemy 3 times, so she's got a triple hit. Has a 75% chance of placing a 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns on the last hit. So weaken will enable you to do more damage. It's almost like a defense break type thing. Not exactly the same, but with this move it enables her to do more damage. Her second move, she's got an AoE, attacks all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. Again, if you notice, all of the ones we've gone through so far have this ability. Now with that, yeah, so that would just mean that for her, if you were focusing purely on her, you know, ability to clear waves, you know, you get your 85% crit rate, get up to 85%, and that 15 will do the rest, and she'll definitely crit, so that's all good. One thing she does have that's a bit unique out of the others, she's got a self buff as her A3. So this says places a 25% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Also places a 30% increased defense buff on the champion for 2 turns. This champion's current if this champion's current HP is less than 50%, grants an extra turn. So she'll do this move, buff her attack. Most of the time I don't really see the defense thing happen a lot, to be honest with you, especially if she's clearing waves. She ain't really gonna take much damage, so she'll buff her attack. She'll usually do this first before then doing her AoE to then clear the place out. And last but not least, of course, she has the 15% HP aura in all battles, so all good on Aethel. She's pretty good. I mean, again, a bit I would say underrated. If you pick, I mean, you can pick any of these guys, or even if you picked one of the others and you get one of these other ones fairly early, you can build them respectably for faction wars, for example, if you don't have a load of the epics and, you know, the other stuff, especially if you're new to the game. Right, so that's that was Aethel, right? Right, and last but not least, we got the Orc. Where is he? Galik. Now this is probably him, and Elhane would probably be the least picked. I think Aethel probably gets a bit more love than this dude as well. Right, so with him, let's check him out. Cool looking champ. Right, so he's A1, attack 1 enemy 2 times, so 2 hits, pretty cool, just standard, nothing too crazy about that. His second move, attack all enemies, has an extra 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit. So again, common with all the starters, they all have this. So again, all that just means you build their crit rate up to 85%, and this guy will crit on his AoE, so that's all good. Right, it's also got a little something extra on it. Right, so even though it's got a 15% chance of inflicting a critical hit, places a 30% increased speed buff on this champion for 2 turns. So he buffs his own speed after doing the AoE. That's pretty cool. I suppose that's unique. None of the others had that. This is something that's actually quite interesting with him. He's got a 4 hit at random. Has a 30% chance of placing a 30% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns, and has a 30% chance of placing a 60% decreased defense debuff for 2 turns if the target has more than 2 debuffs. So most of the time you're going to get the small one out. Just enables you to do more damage. Not bad, can be useful against the clan boss. So it's a weird one. People don't really tend to utilize that. They'll usually get someone who just does the big defense debuff and would go with that. But when you first start, you're not going to have that, so you could use that to your advantage. And even if you got him quite soon after starting, if you didn't pick him, you could build him for faction wars. He would probably be fairly useful. So yeah, and with that you can increase the chance of it as well, so that's cool. And again, just like the rest of them, he's got increased ally HP in all battles by 15%. So Galik is, yeah, probably, I haven't really built him, to be honest. I think I got one sitting at level 50 somewhere. Not a bad champ. Again, any of these ones you pick, none of them are really the wrong choice. Kale will get you more progression more quickly, I'd say. Followed by probably Aethel, then I'd say Galik really before Elhane. Elhane is better for dungeon clearing, but when you're talking about farming the campaign and going through the story, you can use any of these guys provided you build them up. So what you want to do firstly is work on getting your crit rate up. If you want, so this is the thing, Elhane is the one champion that you don't have to worry about the stat accuracy, because she's not applying any debuffs. With the rest of them, Kale accuracy is going to be really important if you want to get the best out of those poisons. With Galik, you would need accuracy if you intend on using the decreased defense buff, and A4 you need accuracy to land her weaken debuff, even though I think maybe she might place that. We'll check, to be fair. A4 is a bit of a weird one. She might just apply it, I'm not too sure. So look, let's go back. But yeah, either way, none of them are the wrong choice. They're all pretty decent champions in their own right. Where is it? So A1, isn't it? So it's a chance of placing it. So yeah, you need accuracy to do that as well. When you first start, yeah, maybe get your accuracy up to 100 or so, you know, on the early stuff. For later game stuff, you try and get it to about 200 to 220, 230, and you can use them in higher content, higher, you know, game content basically. But anyway, that was just a quick one, just going over the starting champions. We will come back and revisit how to then build your starter once you kind of get a few bits of gear going on. What you want to work on mainly though is your crit rate to begin with, and that way you can start clearing the campaign and yeah, progressing in the game. But yeah, anyway, thanks for sticking with me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Some people have been playing the game for ages, so you ain't really going to get to this point in the video. But anyone new, as I say, if you've already picked like a Galik or someone like that, it's not the wrong choice. You know, they're all different. But anyway, thanks for watching ODC. Give me a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you peeps in a bit. Safe. Later.